Welcome to episode number 10 of Island by Film. My name is Wes. One of the things that most of us film photographers will agree on is the reason we shoot film is because we love the process. Whether it's loading the film or carefully composing the image because you have a limited number of frames to work with, those are all parts of the process. And then even beyond that, it's developing your negatives. But part of the process that generally frustrates most of us as film photographers is the process of scanning your film. Now, I have an Epson V600, and this is the film negative holder that comes with the V600. Now, this film negative holder is nothing but an exercise in frustration. In fact, if you use bad language, chances are you're going to use a bunch of it when you're operating with this film negative holder. But however, I want to talk to you briefly today about an alternative to that, and that is the Lomography Digitaliza. Whether it's the 120 negative holder or it's the 35mm negative holder, these are great alternatives to your original OEM masks that come with your Epson scanners. The great thing about the Digitaliza film negative holder or the film scanning mask is that it is first and foremost very, very sturdy. When you look at the construction of it, you can tell that it was built with some care and it's got some rigidity to it. Now, the rigidity is what actually keeps your negatives flat. And that is the most important thing when scanning film, because you have a very, very shallow depth of field when you're trying to scan in a flatbed scanner. And so it's super, super important you're able to keep your negatives flat. Now, I've tested out a few different types of negatives on here, whether they are negatives that are excessively curled or negatives that are already flat or maybe even cupped. It does a very, very good job. Does it keep it 100% perfectly flat? No, it doesn't, but it's a far better improvement over the original OEM scanning masks that come with your Epson scanners. The one tricky thing about this negative holder is that you have to position it just so on your flatbed so that it fits in the area that the scanner light passes over when it's scanning the negatives. And that takes a little bit of a learning curve. Now, there are some alternatives online. People have built actual frames that will fit right on the bed, and I plan on probably doing that in the future, but up till now I've kind of figured out a good process. The other only negative thing that I have to say about these film scanner holders is that you can generally only scan 3 frames at a time when it comes to medium format. A couple more when it comes to 35mm, because for whatever reason, where you position your negatives on the actual holder itself, the Epson scanners don't read the entire area. Not sure why. Maybe you can add some information or in the comments below, but beyond that, it's a very, very minor thing, because quality is what matters. These scanning masks give me a much more improved quality of image over the Epson OEM masks, and so definitely well worth it. What we're going to do today is we're going to quickly just go through how you load film in the masks and give you a really good idea of how simple it is. In terms of the price, these masks, they're not cheap. After shipping in Canada, it ended up costing me around $105 with shipping. They were $35 Canadian per mask. I think they were actually on sale the time that I purchased them. At least one of the two of them were. And but you know, quality generally isn't cheap. So at $35 a piece, it's actually not that bad. So going forward now, we're just going to take a look at how you mount the negatives in each one of these scanning masks and have a quick look at that process. So I'm going to show you quickly how you use the Digitaliza scanning masks. First thing we're going to do is we're going to load some 120 film. I happen to have a few frames here from when I was in Jasper National Park, shot in the Mamiya 645. And so I'm going to start with the 120 film scanning mask. So first thing you do is you lift up this magnetic holder. Set that off to the side. And then you'll flip this over here. You want to leave this metal frame right in here. And I'm going to flip these right down here. I'm going to flip them dull side up. I'm going to slide the magnetic frame mask over top. I'm going to drop this back in place. And at this point you can pull this off, set it to the side, remove the metal portion of the scanning mask, and there you have your 120 film mounted. This film has been stored for quite some time, so the negatives are quite flat. But overall I find this is an incredible upgrade to the Epson stock scanner masks that come with the Epson V600 or V550. They're just too light. They just don't do the proper job. So you'll notice these hold it quite flat. So you can either put it on a light table and use the DSLR method of scanning, or you can actually put this right in your V600, your Epson scanner. It takes a little bit of fiddling around to position it at first, but once you get the hang of it, you can go ahead and scan quite easily that way. So there's the 120 mask. I'm going to put this one off to the side. I'm going to put the 35mm mask in. Same idea. Going to make sure that the frame is in place. And I'm going to open it up like that. I'm going to grab my negative. Same thing, I'm going to place the dull side up. Drop that in place. Set the magnetic portion on top. Flip this over. Pull this off. And then separate right from there. So you see, very easy. Works great. This is especially great if you'd like to show the sprocket holes when you're scanning, and you can actually custom crop instead of allowing the Epson scan software to do that custom crop for you, or to do the original crop for you. You can actually custom crop and show the sprocket holes as well too. So if you'd like to add that to your creativity, that's something definitely you can do. I hope you enjoyed this episode and would love to hear from you. Leave comments below as to what you'd like to see on this channel. Please go ahead and subscribe if you like my videos, and also like them below as well too. And thanks again for the support.